Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Gossips 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Bold and the Beautiful has never been a stranger to jaw-dropping twists, but nothing has sent shockwaves through the fandom quite like the explosive rumor now ripping through social media and entertainment circles. The one question fans are almost afraid to ask out loud but can't stop whispering anyway: is Steffy Forrester really fired? And if so, what does that mean for the future of the show, for Forrester Creations, and for Jacqueline MacInnes Wood herself, the woman who has embodied Steffy's strength, fire, vulnerability, and unapologetic edge for more than a decade? Because over the last 24 hours, what started as a vague online rumor has snowballed into a full-blown Bold and the Beautiful emergency, with fans dissecting every episode, every behind-the-scenes photo, every cast interaction, and every silence that feels just a little too loud. And at the center of it all is Jacqueline MacInnes Wood finally breaking her silence in a way that has left viewers stunned, emotional, and more confused than ever, because the truth, or at least her version of it, is far more complicated than a simple firing or exit, and the implications reach deep into the heart of the show's most powerful family. For weeks now, longtime viewers have sensed something was off, subtle changes at first, Steffy missing from key episodes where her presence should have been unavoidable, boardroom scenes at Forrester Creations unfolding without her commanding authority, emotional storylines involving Finn, Sheila, and the children suddenly shifting focus or being resolved off-screen. And while soaps are notorious for rotating characters in and out, this felt different, heavier, almost deliberate, especially when fans noticed that Steffy's name wasn't being promoted as prominently in previews, and Jacqueline herself had gone unusually quiet on social media. No behind-the-scenes selfies, no playful cast moments, no teasing captions hinting at what's next, just silence, and in the soap world, silence is never accidental. The speculation exploded overnight when a leaked production schedule began circulating online suggesting major rewrites and character reallocations, with Steffy's role noticeably reduced. And then came the bombshell headline that sent fans into a frenzy: Steffy fired? Followed by whispers of creative clashes, contract disputes, and behind-the-scenes tension that allegedly reached a breaking point. And suddenly everyone was asking the same terrifying question: could Bold and the Beautiful really push out one of its most iconic leading women, especially someone so deeply intertwined with the show's identity, legacy, and future? Jacqueline MacInnes Wood has been more than just a cast member. She has been the emotional backbone of an entire generation of storytelling, carrying Steffy through heartbreaks, power struggles, near-death moments, motherhood, obsession, forgiveness, and moral complexity in a way that kept viewers passionately divided but undeniably invested. And to imagine the show without her felt almost unthinkable. Yet the rumors persisted, growing louder by the hour until Jacqueline herself finally addressed the storm, and when she did, she didn't issue a simple denial or a neat clarification. Instead, she delivered something far more raw, honest, and unsettling. A statement that acknowledged change, uncertainty, and difficult conversations, without ever fully confirming or denying the word fired. And that ambiguity has only deepened the mystery. According to sources close to the production, the situation surrounding Steffy's future has been brewing for months, quietly simmering beneath the surface as creative direction shifted and long-term story arcs were re-evaluated. With some insiders claiming that the show has been preparing for a dramatic power reset at Forrester Creations, one that would shake up the balance between legacy characters and usher in a new era of leadership. And in that vision, Steffy's uncompromising dominance may have been seen as both an asset and an obstacle, especially as newer characters are positioned to rise, old rivalries resurface, and family loyalties fracture in ways that demand narrative space. And if that's true, then Steffy's apparent sidelining may not be a punishment, but a calculated narrative gamble, one that risks alienating loyal fans who see her as irreplaceable. Jacqueline's statement, delivered with a careful blend of professionalism and emotion, spoke volumes without spelling anything out, as she thanked fans for their unwavering support, acknowledged that change is never easy, and emphasized how grateful she is for the journey she's had as Steffy, a journey she described as transformative both personally and professionally. And while she stopped short of announcing an exit, her words carried the weight of reflection rather than continuation, which has led many to believe that whatever is happening behind the scenes is far from resolved, and may already be locked in. Fans immediately dissected her phrasing, zeroing in on lines that sounded like farewell rather than reassurance, And that analysis only intensified when other cast members posted vague messages about loyalty, truth, and moving forward, messages that seemed carefully timed and deliberately indirect, fueling theories of internal division and emotional fallout within the cast itself. Meanwhile, on screen, the narrative has begun subtly rewriting Steffy's role, painting her as isolated, reactive, and increasingly disconnected from the power center she once ruled with confidence. And for viewers who have followed her journey from rebellious teenager to formidable CEO, this shift feels both tragic and suspicious, as if the show itself is preparing the audience for a world where Steffy is no longer the axis around which everything turns. The idea that she could be fired in the story mirrors the idea that Jacqueline herself could be pushed aside in reality, creating a meta-narrative that is almost too cruel to ignore. And if this is intentional, then Bold and the Beautiful is playing one of its riskiest games yet, blurring the line between fiction and reality in a way that could either reinvigorate the show or fracture its most loyal fanbase. Industry insiders have also pointed out that Jacqueline's real-life commitments, including her growing family, may have influenced negotiations, with some suggesting that scheduling conflicts and contract terms became points of tension rather than cooperation. And while maternity leaves are nothing new in daytime television, the way this situation has unfolded feels different, less supportive, more transactional, and that perception alone has angered fans who feel Jacqueline deserves respect, transparency, and creative collaboration after years of carrying some of the show's most emotionally demanding arcs. Social media has become a battleground, with hashtags calling for Steffy's return trending alongside others demanding answers from the show's producers, and viewers flooding comment sections with emotional testimonials about what Steffy means to them, how her strength inspired them, how her flaws made her human, and how losing her would feel like losing a piece of the show's soul. And amid all of this noise, the silence from the show itself has been deafening. No official statement, no clear denial, no reassurance, just carefully edited previews and press releases that avoid the topic entirely, which in soap terms often means that something major is indeed happening behind the curtain. Jacqueline's silence after her initial statement has only intensified the speculation, and fans are now split between those who believe this is a temporary break being sensationalized for attention, and those who fear this is the beginning of the end for Steffy Forrester as a central figure, and perhaps even for Jacqueline's long-term future on the show. And what makes this moment so devastating is the timing, coming at a point where Steffy's story feels unfinished, her relationships unresolved, her battles far from over, leaving viewers with a sense of narrative whiplash, as if the story is being yanked away just when it should be reaching its most powerful crescendo. If Steffy is truly being written out or diminished, it raises uncomfortable questions about how the show values its female power players, especially those who refuse to be softened, simplified, or easily redeemed, because Steffy has always been polarizing, unapologetic, and fiercely protective of what she believes is hers, and that complexity is precisely what made her compelling, and to lose that edge in favor of safer, quieter storytelling would be a loss not just for fans, but for the genre itself. Jacqueline MacInnes Wood's performance has consistently elevated the material, bringing nuance to moments that could have easily slipped into caricature, and her absence would leave a void that no recast or rewrite could truly fill. And yet the industry is ruthless, and soap history is littered with shocking exits that once seemed impossible, reminding fans that no character, no matter how beloved, is ever completely safe. As the dust continues to swirl, one thing is clear. This is not just a rumor, not just fan hysteria, not just another exaggerated headline. This is a pivotal moment for the Bold and the Beautiful, a crossroads that will define its creative direction, its relationship with its audience, and its willingness to honor the legacy of the characters who built it. And whether Steffy's story is paused, redirected, or quietly dismantled, the emotional impact of this uncertainty has already been felt, deeply and painfully, by viewers who have grown up with her, argued about her, defended her, and ultimately loved her in all her flawed, fiery glory. And until the show or Jacqueline herself provides undeniable clarity, the question will continue to haunt every episode, every preview, every silence. Was Steffy fired? Or is this something even more complicated, more heartbreaking, and more telling about the future of daytime television than anyone is ready to admit? And as the hours stretch on without official confirmation, the anxiety surrounding Steffy Forrester's fate only deepens, because in the world of daytime drama, uncertainty is often more painful than loss itself, and fans have been left clinging to fragments of hope hidden inside every carefully worded interview quote, every vague social media post, every subtle shift in storyline emphasis that might hint at what's really happening behind the closed doors of CBS studios, where creative decisions are made that can erase years of emotional investment in a single rewrite. What makes this situation particularly unsettling is how tightly Steffy's absence seems to be woven into the current narrative fabric of the show, as if her diminishing presence is not accidental but deliberate, part of a larger restructuring that is quietly unfolding on screen, one where power dynamics are shifting, alliances are being redefined, and familiar authority figures are being questioned or sidelined, and when viewers look closely, they can see the cracks forming exactly where Steffy once stood strongest. Forrester Creations, a place that once echoed with Steffy's unapologetic voice and decisive leadership, now feels strangely hollow, its boardroom scenes lacking the fire that once drove so many legendary confrontations, and that absence has not gone unnoticed by fans who understand that soaps communicate as much through who is missing as through who remains. Meanwhile, Jacqueline MacInnes Wood's silence continues to loom large, because in a genre where actors often rush to reassure fans with cheerful updates and promises of return, her restraint feels intentional, even protective, as if she is guarding something fragile, something unresolved, something she herself may not yet have full control over, and that realization has shifted the narrative from gossip to concern, from curiosity to genuine emotional investment in the well-being of an actress who has given so much of herself to a role that demanded constant emotional intensity. Longtime viewers remember how Steffy's journey has always mirrored themes of survival, resilience, and self-definition, from her early days fighting to be taken seriously within the Forrester dynasty, to her tumultuous love story with Liam, her complicated bond with Finn, and her ongoing wariness toward Sheila, and to potentially see that journey interrupted not by narrative resolution but by behind-the-scenes maneuvering feels almost like a betrayal of the story itself, and fans are responding accordingly with petitions, comment campaigns, and impassioned pleas flooding official pages, all demanding clarity, respect, and honesty. The frustration is compounded by the fact that the show has leaned heavily on Steffy's strength during some of its most controversial arcs, relying on Jacqueline's ability to ground heightened drama in emotional truth, and now, just as the character stands at another potential crossroads, the ground seems to be shifting beneath her feet, leaving viewers to wonder whether this is simply another dramatic pause, or the quiet dismantling of a legacy. Insiders have hinted that the show's producers are attempting to recalibrate its tone, possibly softening certain characters while amplifying others, and in that recalibration, Steffy's sharp edges may have been deemed too divisive, too powerful, too difficult to contain within a simplified moral framework, yet that very complexity is what made her compelling, and to remove or reduce her because she refuses to fit neatly into a box would signal a troubling creative retreat rather than growth. Jacqueline's portrayal has always thrived in the gray areas, allowing Steffy to be loving and ruthless, vulnerable and commanding, wrong and justified all at once, and without that layered presence, the show risks flattening its emotional landscape, replacing nuance with predictability, something fans have long feared as soaps struggle to balance tradition with evolution. The timing of this alleged firing also raises uncomfortable questions about how the industry treats women who assert boundaries, advocate for their characters, or prioritize their personal lives without apology. And while no one has publicly accused the show of wrongdoing, the optics alone have sparked conversations about respect, longevity, and creative partnership, conversations that extend far beyond one character or one actress, and into the broader future of daytime television itself. As rumors swirl, some fans cling to the belief that this is all part of an elaborate misdirection, a temporary absence designed to heighten anticipation for a dramatic return that will restore Steffy to her rightful place at the center of the storm. And while that hope remains alive, it is tempered by the growing sense that something fundamental has shifted, that the tone of the show's storytelling has subtly but unmistakably changed, preparing the audience for a reality they may not be ready to accept. Jacqueline's past interviews about her love for the role, her gratitude toward the fans, and her deep connection to Steffy now take on a bittersweet quality, as viewers replay her words through the lens of uncertainty, searching for hidden clues or unspoken goodbyes, and every mention of growth, gratitude, or new chapters feels heavier than it once did, laden with the possibility of finality. What is undeniable is the emotional reaction this situation has provoked, because whether fans love or hate Steffy, she is a character who inspires strong feelings, and that passion is the lifeblood of any successful soap, and to risk alienating that audience without transparency is a gamble that could have lasting consequences. The Bold and the Beautiful has weathered cast changes before, but few have carried this level of emotional weight, this sense of unresolved tension between story and reality, and as episodes continue to air with Steffy conspicuously absent or minimized, the question grows louder, more insistent, more impossible to ignore, forcing viewers to confront the possibility that they are witnessing not just a plot development, but a turning point in the show's identity. Jacqueline MacInnes would breaking her silence may have answered some questions, but it has raised even more, and until those questions are met with clear, unequivocal answers, the speculation will continue to spiral, fueled by love, frustration, loyalty, and fear, because at the heart of this controversy is not just whether Steffy was fired, but whether the show still understands what made her indispensable in the first place, and whether it is willing to stand by the characters who challenged it to be bold, fearless, and emotionally honest, just as its title promises. And as this uncertainty stretches into days and then weeks, the emotional fatigue among viewers becomes impossible to ignore, because soaps thrive on trust, the unspoken agreement between storytellers and audience that even when characters suffer, their journeys matter, their arcs are respected, and their exits, if they come, are earned rather than obscured. And right now that trust feels fragile, tested by the lack of clarity surrounding Steffy Forrester's future and Jacqueline MacInnes Wood's place within the Bold and the Beautiful universe. Fans are beginning to notice how conversations on screen are subtly rewritten to avoid mentioning Steffy directly, how emotional beats that should belong to her are redistributed among other characters, and how the show seems to be tiptoeing around a void it has not yet acknowledged, creating a strange emotional disconnect that longtime viewers instinctively feel even if they can't immediately articulate it. The silence from the network and producers continues to speak volumes, because in an era where rumors can be shut down in minutes with a single statement, the decision not to do so suggests deliberation, caution, and perhaps internal disagreement, and that only reinforces the fear that this situation is far more complicated than fans were initially led to believe. Jacqueline's restraint, meanwhile, has only deepened the respect many viewers have for her, as she refuses to inflame speculation or weaponize fan loyalty, choosing instead to honor the character, the show, and the audience by not reducing a deeply personal and professional moment to soundbites, and that dignity has become a quiet counterpoint to the chaos swirling around her name. Whether Steffy's absence ultimately leads to a triumphant return, a slow fade, or a definitive farewell, this moment will be remembered as one where the emotional bond between character and audience was laid bare, where fans collectively confronted how deeply a fictional woman's strength, flaws, and resilience had woven themselves into their daily lives, and where the question of what Bold and the Beautiful values most, legacy or reinvention, loyalty or convenience, was placed squarely under the spotlight. Until answers arrive, every episode will carry a shadow of anticipation, every mention of Forrester power will feel incomplete, and every silence will echo louder than dialogue, because Steffy Forrester is not just a character who can disappear without consequence, she is a force whose presence reshaped the show, and whatever comes next, the impact of this shocking update has already altered the way fans watch, wait, and wonder. Chaji. And even now, as fans brace themselves for whatever announcement may finally come, there is a lingering sense that this chapter, no matter how it ends, has exposed something deeply human about the relationship between daytime television and its audience, because Steffy Forrester's possible removal has forced viewers to confront how much they rely on certain characters to anchor the chaos, to embody continuity in a genre built on constant upheaval. Jacqueline MacInnes Wood's portrayal turned Steffy into more than a plot device. She became a symbol of endurance, ambition, and unapologetic selfhood, and the thought of losing that presence leaves a void that cannot be filled by quick rewrites or substitute rivalries. The conversation has moved beyond rumor and into reflection, with fans asking not just what happens next, but what should happen, and whether Bold and the Beautiful is willing to honor the emotional investment it has cultivated for years. As the speculation continues, one truth remains unshaken. Steffy's story matters, Jacqueline's contribution matters, and the way this moment is handled will echo far beyond a single shocking update, shaping how viewers trust the show's promises of boldness, beauty, and emotional truth in the days still to come.